Namaste everyone. How are you all? I'm Shruti Tiwari from Top Rankers Supergrads CAT. I welcome you all to this fantastic session series of reading comprehension based on philosophy and psychology. You must be wondering why damn we are interested in taking passages on psychology and philosophy for the first uh, with the obvious reason that we do not want to leave any tough sections or any tough genre on your own. We would want to give you that glimpses that even the toughest RCs can be solved in CAT. And if you are clever enough to have the right approach, you can find something better than nothing. All right. So let's begin with reading comprehension passages. The first question is that why passages on psychology? Why passages on psychology? Philosophy, obviously, we had an understanding, we had a discussion about it. Now let's come to psychology. Why is it important? Now, obviously, B schools don't expect psychotherapists and psychologists to, go for MBA, and they are not expecting you to have preconceived notions or knowledge about psychology. That's not what they intend to. It's basically that whether you are able to deal with an unexpected, piece of writing or no, first of all. Second is that when you go for MBA, whether you are from marketing or HR or from any other field, you will be dealing with people. You will be dealing with a team of people. You'll be dealing with your clients, customers, and obviously the market trends. All right. So these trends of economy, these trends of market are influenced by the psyche of the human beings, their behavior, isn't it? So if it is consumer behavior, it is basically the pattern of behavior of human beings as such. And hence, not expecting you to have the details of psychology or the detailed theories of psychology, but a little understanding of psychology is good for your MBA as well. All right, not bad. In fact, ज्ञान जो है वो एक दूसरे के साथ में मिलकर, ठीक है, कोलैबोरेट करके ही डेवलप होता है. नो नॉलेज और फील्ड ऑफ नॉलेज इज एक्सक्लूसिव. दे आर ऑल इंटर all right. So ज्ञान बहुत हो गया. Let's now solve reading comprehension. How to deal with reading comprehension. एक तो हमारे दिमाग में ये मिथ है कि अगर पैसेज साइकोलॉजी का है, फिलोसफी का है, तो इट इज बाउंड टू बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट. सो दैट्स अगेन अ मिथ. ठीक है, हम ये देखकर कि दो चार वर्ड्स उसके पैसेज के देखें कि ओके दिस इज टॉकिंग अबाउट सम कॉग्निटिव फिलोसफी, कॉग्निटिव थेरेपी और कॉग्निटिव साइकोलॉजी और माइंड मैपिंग और समथिंग लाइक दैट, इसको तो हाथ ही नहीं लगाना. सो दिस इज अ रॉन्ग नोशन. All right, do not have aversion towards psychology and philosophy. There are passages and there could be passages of psychology which are very easy to comprehend and solve the questions. ठीक है, in fact कैट ऐसा गेम कर सकता है आपके साथ that it might give you a reading comprehension on psychology with 4 questions which are very direct, but only that the passages on psychology you did not even touch it, and later on you realize and regret that oh इतना easy passage था और मैंने छोड़ दिया सिर्फ इसलिए कि psychology का था. So that's a bad idea. That's a bad decision to take. And that's what I don't want you to do. Okay? Second, even if a passage is difficult or maybe the questions are not that comprehensible, I would say कि अगर तुम एक ऐसी सिचुएशन में आ गए जैसे कैट 2023 की सिचुएशन थी मैथ्स में, that there are questions beyond your expectation. Same thing could happen with VARC. There are passages or para jumbles which are not in your reach. Then your last recluse is reading comprehension. अब ऐसे में if only you're leaving the entire passage, all 4 questions because it is of psychology, that's a bad idea. At least try 2 questions, not a bad idea. At least invest 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and have 2 questions in hand. ठीक है, तो that could be tried. That's what I want you to go ahead with. So let's have familiarity with the genre first of all, and let's break the myths of this being very tough. I should not touch that passage, or these are things which are really really nice, and I should actually solve these passages. There could be passages on fashion and fashion, or cosmetics, or models, or maybe movies, very peppy topics of social media, but they could be really, really tough to crack. All right. And there could be passages on psychology which seem to be really tough, but they could be really easy. And let me prove that. All right. Let's solve an RC together. All right. So how do we solve an RC? Obviously, first we will go through the questions. All right. You should first read the question stem and only then go for reading the passage. So let's do that. According to the passage, which of the following best describes the nature of the relationship between dream, content, and real life experience? So the first question itself tells you that the passage should be about dreams. All right. The passage implies which of the following about the memory of experiences as represented in dreams. So it is talking about memories in dreams. According to the passage, which of the following statements is true about Delboeuf's, or even if you don't say the name, D's dream involving the lizards and a plant? In the passage, the author provides D's dream as an example to illustrate which aspect of dream psychology. Now let's come to the passage. Now, if you're a slow reader, you can pause the video. I'm getting off the screen, all right, and you can read it at your own speed. Otherwise, read along with me, okay? That all the material composing the content of a dream is somehow derived from the experience that is reproduced or remembered in the dream. This is at least may be accepted as an incontestable fact. Yet, it would be wrong to assume that such a connection between dream content and reality will be easily obvious from the comparison between the two. On the contrary, the connection must be carefully sought, and in quite a number of cases, it may for a long while elude discovery. The reason for this is to be found in a number of peculiarities evinced by the faculty of memory in dreams, which peculiarities, though generally observed, have hitherto defined explanation. So basically, this gives you the answer to the first question. It is saying that there are certain experiences which obviously you remember in the dream because you have already experienced that. And this can be accepted as an incontestable fact. That means there is no doubt about this fact. All right. But yet, it would be wrong to assume that such a connection between experience and dream, all right, is obvious comparison because there are certain things which are beyond comprehension. He says, on the contrary, the connection must be carefully sought, and in quite a number of cases, it may elude discovery. Elude, बच कर निकल जाना, ठीक है? So it could elude discovery means you are not able to recognize the fact that why are these dreams coming, or is it related to some other experience or no. Okay, so that's what the author is saying, that although we feel that dreams come from the experience and this is incontestable fact, but that's not the case. And that's what author is saying, that you have to carefully examine that. The reason the reason the author is saying this is that these peculiarities evinced by the faculty of memory. Evince means revealed by. All right. So dreams में जो भी reveal होता है, ठीक है, by the faculty of memory. Faculty is expertise of our memory. Okay. Though generally observed have hitherto defied explanation. So we have no explanation basically of those memories of dream. All right. So there is a little bit of confusion between what the author wants to say, what he means. All right. And that's what makes it little hazy. All right. It's not clear. It will be worth our while to examine these characteristics exhaustively. So he's again asserting, he's putting assertion on that. He's persuading you that dreams have to be studied properly in order to be understood. All right. To begin with, it happens that certain material appears in the dream content which cannot be subsequently recognized in the waking state as being part of one's knowledge and experience. One remembers clearly enough having dreamed of a thing in question, but one cannot recall the actual experience or the time of its occurrence. So ड्रीम तो याद है बहुत क्लियरली, लेकिन एक्चुअली में ये एक्सपीरियंस कब हुआ था वो ध्यान नहीं है, और प्रोबेबली कब हुआ था ये भी ध्यान नहीं है. द ड्रीमर इज देयरफॉर इन डार्क. Dreamer is in dark. That means he is not very clear about it. Okay. As to the source which the dream has stabbed, and is even tempted to believe in an independent productive activity on the part of the dream, until often long afterwards a fresh episode restores the memory of that former experience which had been given up for lost. Now you see that ये sentence यहां से start हो रहा है और यहां आकर ये खत्म हो रहा है. Now, that's the problem which you face while dealing with passages of philosophy and psychology. Sentences are long and rambling, all right, and there is a lot of information which is, entangled here and there, and you have to disentangle it. उसको सुलझाना पड़ता है. बहुत उलझी हुई बातें हैं, उन्हें थोड़ा सुलझाना पड़ता है. तो सुलझाने का क्या तरीका है? Read it in chunks, ठीक है, so that you are able to understand what exactly the author wants to say. पूरा सेंटेंस एक बार में पढ़ोगे समझ में नहीं आएगा, लेकिन सेंटेंस को तोड़ के पढ़ोगे समझ में आ जाएगा. कैसे? द ड्रीमर इज देयरफॉर इन डार्क एज टू सोर्स विच द ड्रीम हैज स्टैप्ड. मतलब ड्रीमर को अपने ड्रीम का सोर्स के बारे में कोई क्लैरिटी नहीं है. एंड इज इवन टेम्प्टेड टू बिलीव इन एन इंडिपेंडेंट प्रोडक्टिव एक्टिविटी ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ ड्रीम. वो ड्रीम को एक इंडिपेंडेंट प्रोडक्टिव एक्टिविटी समझता है, वो उसको रिलेट नहीं करता किसी एक्सपीरियंस से. Until, जब तक कि often long afterwards a fresh episode restores the memory of that former experience. Until कि उसके दिमाग में उसकी मेमोरी जो है वो उस एपिसोड का रिवाइंड या फ्रेश एपिसोड जो है वो उसको दिखाती देती है, या एक फॉर्मर एक्सपीरियंस जो पहले हो चुका है उसको रिस्टोर करके ना दिखा दे. ठीक है. Which had been given up for lost and so reveals the source of the dream. और तब उसको अपने उस सपने के सोर्स के बारे में पता चलता है. सो बेसिकली शॉर्ट में क्या बोलना चाह रहा है कि क्योंकि बहुत पुराने एक्सपीरियंसेस से हमारे ड्रीम्स बनते हैं, तो वो मेमोरी कहाँ से आई, कब आई, इस बारे में ड्रीमर जो है वो डार्क में होता है, मतलब अंधेरे में रहता है, उसे क्लियर नहीं होता. बट जब उससे की मेमोरी उस एपिसोड्स को रिफ्रेश कर देती है, या कोई एपिसोड होता है उसकी लाइफ में और वो मेमोरी रिफ्रेश होती है, तब वो रिलेट कर पाता है उस ड्रीम से, और तब उसे पता चलता है कि हाँ ये सोर्स होगा. ठीक है. One is therefore forced to admit that in the dream something was known and remembered that cannot be remembered in the waking state. तो बहुत सारी चीजें जो ड्रीम में हमें याद रहती हैं वो वेकिंग स्टेट में याद नहीं रहती हैं. अब वैसे तो इसका नाम डेल्बोव, लेकिन हम क्यों नाम ले रहे हैं, हम डी ही बोलेंगे. डी relates from his own experience, an especially impressive example of this kind. He saw in his dream the courtyard of his house covered with snow, and found there two lizards, two little lizards, half frozen and buried in the snow. Being a lover of animals, he picked them up, warmed them, and put them back into the hole in the wall, which was reserved specially for them. He also gave them a few fronds of a little Fern. Fern is a small plant which was growing on the wall and of which he knew they were very fond. In the dream, he knew the name of the plant and whatever be the name which he remembers. The dream continued, returning after a digression. Digression means a kind of a distraction. All right. So the dream continued, returning after a digression to the lizards, and to his astonishment. Astonishment, um, amazement. All right. किसी चीज को देखकर चौंक जाना. So that is astonishment. D saw that two other little lizards falling upon what was left of the ferns. On turning his eyes to the open fields, he saw a fifth and a sixth lizard making for the hole in the wall. And finally, the whole road was covered by a procession of lizards, all wandering in the same direction. So there was an unusual dream. पहले दो lizards दिखी, half snow में buried. उनको उसने गर्म किया और वॉल पे छोड़ दिया जहां पे वो रह रही थी, और उनको खाने के लिए फर्न्स दे दिए. फर्न्स छोटी छोटी झाड़ियां, ठीक है. लेकिन फिर दो और लिजर्ड्स दिखी, फिर दो और लिजर्ड्स दिखी. एंड देन लेटर ऑन ही फाउंड दैट देयर इज अ होल प्रोसेशन ऑफ लिजर्ड्स. लिजर्ड्स की बारात निकल रही है, ठीक है. दे आर ऑल अप्रोचिंग इन द सेम डायरेक्शन. So it's an unusual dream, very funny, very absurd, but this is how dreams are. All right. उसने जो फर्न दिया था लिजर्ड्स को खाने का, तो ड्रीम में उसे उसका नाम याद था. द बोटानिकल नेम, दिस सीम्स टू बी अ botanical name. We don't have to say this, but then we understand that this is some kind of scientific name of the plant. All right. Uh, in his waking state, D knew only a few Latin names of plants and nothing of any asplenium or A. जो नाम उसको ड्रीम में याद था, वेकिंग स्टेट में वो नाम याद नहीं था. ठीक है. He was not able to recall the name while he is awake, but in the dream, that name is registered in the memory. To his great surprise, he discovered that a fern of this name did actually exist, and that the correct name was whatever, which the dream had slightly distorted. So the name in the dream and the actual name are almost same, only a little difference. All right. An accidental coincidence was of course inconceivable, yet where he got his knowledge of the name in the dream remained a mystery to him. So this is the mystery, where he got his knowledge of the name in the dream. क्योंकि वेकिंग स्टेट में तो उसे याद नहीं है, तो ड्रीम में उसे कैसे याद रहा? That's the mystery. The dream occurred in 1862. 16 years later, while at the house of one of his friends, the philosopher noticed a small album containing dried plants, such as are sold as souvenirs to visitors in many parts of Switzerland. Souvenirs, गिफ्ट्स जो देते हैं हम लोग मेमोरी के लिए. कोई हमारे घर आता है तो उसे रिटर्न गिफ्ट देते हैं कि उसको हमारी याद रहे, या हम कहीं बाहर घूमने जाते हैं तो किसी के लिए कुछ लेकर आते हैं वहां की याद के लिए. दैट इज souvenirs. All right. So he found that there is a album which is containing dried up plants which were given to people as souvenirs. All right. A sudden recollection came to him. He opened the herbarium, discovered therein the asplenium or A of his dream, and recognized his own handwriting in the accompanying Latin name. That means he has written it in his own handwriting and it was there with his friend. He could not recall it while he was awake. In the conscious state, he was not able to recall. But in the dream, he was able to recall it. So that's something which he wants to prove, that there are certain mysteries in the dream and the real life experience which we need to study. All right. Let's now come to questions. According to the passage, which of the following best describes the nature of relationship between dream content and real life experience? So we have seen that it was in the first paragraph. Let's understand the options and eliminate the wrong ones. Dream content is always a direct and recognizable reflection of one's past experience. So it is not always a direct and recognizable reflection. You need to at times think about it, or you're not able to recall it. All right. So this is absolutely wrong. The connection between dream content and reality is often elusive and requires careful investigation. So we have seen that in the passage here. So the author says that uh, that these number of peculiarities evinced by the faculty of memory are beyond our explanation, and hence we need to study them very carefully. All right, or we have to study them exhaustively. So this could be an answer. Dreams are completely independent of past experience and reflect an autonomous productive activity of the mind. So this is absolutely wrong, because dreams are not completely independent. They have reflection of the past experience. Most dream content can be easily traced back to specific events in the dreamer's life without much effort. So, this part of the option is wrong. He says that you need to actually uh, observe and think and study carefully in order to relate it, isn't it? So it requires a lot of efforts. जबकि यहाँ पे वो कह रहा है without much effort. So we see that by eliminating the option only, you are able to get the right answer. All right. 3 नंबर याद रखो, ठीक है? तुम्हें मिल चुके हैं. The passage implies which of the following about memory of experiences as represented in dreams? So, what is he talking about? Memory of experiences. He is saying dream content is always a clear and accurate representation of one's memories. So, it's not always clear. People generally are in dark, isn't it? People can remember their dreams more vividly and accurately than in their waking experience. This could be there, all right? This could be because he's saying that things which he was not able to remember in the waking state, he was able to remember in the dream. All right. Dreams may include material that is not consciously remembered when awake. So, this could also be the answer. Dreams predominantly consist of recent experiences rather than distant memories. This is absolutely wrong, because opposite of this is being proved by the example of lizard. 16 years later he was able to recognize कि उसने कहाँ देखा था. So it at times takes long years than you could expect. So B और C में से दोनों में से कोई एक होना चाहिए. Now let's evaluate. All right. It says people can remember their dreams more vividly and accurately. So, accuracy of dreams is not something which you can actually talk about, because he himself was not accurate in remembering the name of the plant. There was a mismatch. All right. So, there are certain things which the memory, recalls, but certain things could be not accurate. All right. So, this word accurately makes this option getting eliminated, and hence the answer should be C. Dreams may include material that is not consciously remembered when awake, and that's exactly what happened with him. When he was awake, he was not able to recall the name of the plant, but in the dream, he was able to, some way or the other, was near about correct in the name. Third, according to the passage, which of the following statement is true about D's dream involving the lizard and a plant? D had a long standing interest and knowledge in botany. He says he was not at all interested or he did not have any prior knowledge. So he is saying here, in his waking state, Dee knew only a few Latin names of plants. So he did not have a very long, knowledge or understanding of botanical names. So this is wrong. Name of the plant in Dream was entirely a creation of Dee's subconscious. That means such plant did not exist. It was only a creation in the fantasy. No, it actually exists, and that was the surprise which was there, or he, to his astonishment, is what the author is saying. Okay. Dee's dream accurately represented his waking knowledge of plant in Latin name. So waking knowledge was not there. It was only in the dream that he was able to recollect. So three cancelled out. He was initially unable to remember where he had learned the name of the plant mentioned in his dream. So initially he was not able to remember, that's true. It was only 16 years later that he visited his philosopher friend that he was able to recall the experience and immediately remember that this is where my memory gets connected with my dream. In the passage, the author provides Dee's dream as an example to illustrate which aspect of dream psychology. The predictive nature of dreams based on subconscious desires. This could be dreams as a reflection of one's deepest fears and anxieties. Is the author talking about only fears and anxiety? The ability of dream to recall forgotten memories or knowledge. So, forgotten memories or knowledge. The random and chaotic nature of dream content unrelated to past experience. So, unrelated to past experience cannot be there. And uh, fear and anxiety is obviously wrong because he's not just talking about fear and anxiety. So, either A or C. Now, let's have a closer look. The predictive nature of dreams based on subconscious desire, the ability of dreams to recall forgotten memories or knowledge. Now, is the author trying to put a point that we can predict our dreams based on our desires? Is that what this dream is about? Was he predicting lizards? Was he predicting the name of the plant? No. The theory which Dee's dream is illustrating or proving is that dreams have some relation with the past experience. Not necessarily we are able to relate very quickly. It could have a very long forgotten memory of the past. All right. And that's what he wants to prove. And hence, the predictive nature of dreams based on subconscious desire loses ground, and C becomes the answer. Ability of dreams to recall forgotten memories or knowledge. So that's what the answer. All right. So you can see that not all passages of psychology are tough to crack. The passage might seem to be a little incomprehensible. It seems to be a little complex, but if you break the sentence into parts and read properly, you'll be able to understand. And please go through the questions first to decide whether you need to do this passage or you shouldn't do this passage. Okay, this should not be based on the genre of the passage कि psychology का है तो हाथ नहीं लगाना है और fashion और उसका है makeup और models का है तो बिल्कुल करना है. It depends on what kind of questions are there. There is not a single question of critical reasoning in this passage. So if this passage comes in cat and you leave it just because it is of psychology, it's a bad decision to make. All right. So keep solving more passages of psychology and philosophy. Keep reading. Leisure reading actually is going to help you very much. All right. Go to Aeon Essays, pick few articles here and there, and just make yourself acquainted with the language which is used. Not a big deal. All right. They'll be talking about dreams. They'll be talking about some kind of behavioral patterns between, age groups or maybe teenagers. How are they getting affected or influenced by, these addictions and all that stuff. So not a very out of world kind of thing. All right, it's only that they write in a very long sentence and rambling prose kind of, which is a little tough to comprehend. So that's what is making you fearful. If you get familiar with that, you can actually, if not all four, at least two questions, at least three questions. That's what my intention is all right. So until we meet next time, all the best. Keep learning and keep solving good number of RCs. All right. Bye.